Time to pump the brakes. The Houston Rockets made a huge trade, bringing Chris Paul to H-Town. We know that James Harden moved to the point guard position last season, led the NBA in assists, and was a finalist for the MVP award. The question, Tyler, is can Chris Paul and James Harden coexist, or do we need to pump the brakes on them?
Absolutely, they can coexist. Pedal to the metal. CT, these are two of the most dynamic basketball players we have in the entire NBA. And I understand why people, a few hours after this trade, are looking at what Houston did and say, there's still only one basketball. Chris Paul, James Harden, going to share one basketball and keep this offense as efficient as it was a year ago when Harden could dominate and get all of his ancillary players looks. What's he going to do? Well, this trade does not happen unless Chris Paul and James Harden have discussed how they will play together. Chris Paul, I would assume, is going to be the point guard in Mike D'Antoni's system, and Harden's going to be off the ball a little bit more. But I'm sure Harden is aware of that, and we have to give Harden credit for being a smart enough basketball player to understand what he needs to do a little differently to get his numbers. He was smart enough to adapt to being a point guard. A lot of people looked at him playing under Mike D'Antoni this year at the point guard spot and said, how is he going to do that?
I have my
He's
concerns.
never done that,
Indeed.
and he absolutely shattered expectation. So let's at least give him the benefit of the doubt that he can change the way that he attacks on offense with Chris Paul by his side. And as far as Chris Paul is concerned, this guy can play basketball in any era, in any offense with anyone. He is one of the 3 or 4 greatest point guards to ever play the game of basketball. Don't give me he's never been to a conference final. Don't give me he doesn't have any rings. Look at the numbers. Look at his player efficiency rating. Look at the way that he affects the game on both ends of the floor. Look at the way he scores with efficiency. Look at the way he dishes with efficiency. Ask DeAndre Jordan how good Chris Paul is. DeAndre Jordan is an exorbitantly wealthy man for one reason only. It's Chris Paul getting him all those damn lobs to couple with his block shots and his rebounds. Chris Paul is that good, and I have no qualms in my mind that two players with such excellent basketball IQ will be able to make this work. And for James Harden, I'm not saying he's going to be Kawhi Leonard or anything like that defensively. But last year, you could tell in the playoffs what he had to do on the offensive end every time the ball was in his hands, initiating that offense. It took a toll on the defense.
He was
didn't
gassed.
have the energy for
Hands
it.
down.
Now Chris Paul can be the guy that starts the offense and gives James a breather. He doesn't have to get involved in this play. Chris Paul can run the pick and roll with Clint Capella and set him up for a lob the same way James Harden did, and maybe that will allow Harden to expend some more effort defensively. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be Kawhi Leonard, but if he has more energy from that end of the floor, it makes the Rockets a better team as a whole. I understand there's still only one ball, but Mike D'Antoni's offense is going to allow you to shoot the ball 150 times as a team, as a game, and one ball should be enough for James and Chris to both get theirs, and for all those shooters behind the three-point line to get a lot of wide-open looks.
Yes, certainly James should be fresher down the stretch in ball games and allow him to score in the clutch. It seemed like he disappeared at times, maybe for a lack of energy in the playoffs. The Houston Rockets, they were a 3rd seed last year, 55 wins. Can Paul and Harden improve on that? We'll have to wait and see. 120 Sports, we're always on demand.